So in the last video, I went ahead and made my new sized images files. And I went ahead and wrote a commit message and did a push. I've got the files here in the images folder. And as we can see, nothing is highlighted because I've just done a push. So I can close that images folder down, come to the instructions, and at this point I'm ready to start editing the index.html file. And what it's talking about, what the summary talked about, was this new element that we're going to be using, which is the picture element, which allows us to have different sources for a single image. And if we look at this very quickly, and again up in the summary section, we have, along with the new picture element, we have a source element which allows us to do a media query and define what image we would do under these conditions. So what this line is saying is, to the browser, it says, if the width of your viewport is 768 pixels or larger, use the 640 width image. If that's not true, then fall down to this next line, and instead of the 640, go ahead and load the 320 pixel wide. So the IMG tag here is exactly the same as the ones that currently exist in the index.html. And what we have to do is put this picture picture element into our code and then insert a new line for source and copy our existing IMG tag. So a little bit of work, but not too bad. Let's go ahead and close down the README file. Open up the index. Go find our photo gallery. And here's where we want to do the work. So I'm going to click on the outside of this figure open tag, hit enter or return, type the word picture, and let Emmet make the open and close tags for us, which it does. Then I'm going to hit another enter or return to open that up. And I'm going to steal like a developer, copy that code right out of the instructions, come back, paste it into the area. Oops, I did copy, not paste. I may have lost it. Yep. Let's try again. Copy. Let me fix my new line problem. There we go. Paste. And then I have to carefully copy the IMG tag as well. Actually, I'm going to cut it so it comes completely out of that. Open up a new line. Paste that in. And then I'm just going to do a little bit of cleanup here. Right click somewhere, it doesn't really matter where. Format document with beautify. And then that lines everything up very nicely. So obviously I don't have Buster-640W. I need Animal World. So I'm going to copy that, and carefully paste it over Buster. So I'm just going to look at these two links, making sure that they only differ by the very last part of the file name. So I'm pretty much going to go quiet and then just do the same thing for the other two images. So now I have to go back and make sure my file names match. So let's save that file now. Did you notice how sometimes we got the squiggly red line underneath something as I was editing, and then it went away? So the validator is running all the time in my VS Code, and as soon as it sees an error, it tries to flag that for me. But now that everything is complete, I don't have a problem with that error, any errors coming up. There's nothing red here, and index.html is not red either. So that's very reassuring for me. So it's always important to check it first in Live Server. As we found out, Live Server works slightly differently than Netlify does, so it's a good idea to check the results in both. And I'm going to go into Developer Tools right now. Click that on and make it responsive so I get this little grab bar here on the side. I'm going to give it plenty of room. And there we go. I call that the pop. If you watch this number here, we should be able to see that pop at 768. And I can actually highlight that, use my up and down arrow keys, and show that media query actually does work. So that's great. I'm assuming this is a good place to once again do a commit and push. So I can say add 3 picture elements. This is not a big deal, but the convention is that you don't say I added 3 pictures. It's more like a command, add 3 pictures or 3 picture elements. So I go ahead and check mark that and do a push. Let me actually close project 3 repo at this point, do a refresh. There we see our newest commit message. And if we do a refresh on the Netlify, we also see these larger images. And we should get the same exact behavior. And there we go. So this is the end of this video. Let me just see what comes next. Ah, the origami bird. We're getting to change the color of the origami bird. So we'll do that in the next video.